Because I didn't see any crosses, so I don't know what I was doing. I'm still under the spell of the prize over there.
So what was it like seeing memories again on the screen?
Well, it is really very emotional.
Charlton Heston built a career on playing larger-than-life figures, from Moses in the Ten Commandments to Ben-Hur in the film that won him an Oscar. His commanding screen presence and dedication to his roles made him one of Hollywood's most recognizable stars. But behind the scenes, he was known for clashing with certain co-stars. No feud was more heated than the one he had with Sophia Loren during the filming of El Cid. Their on-set battles went beyond creative differences, turning into open hostility that lasted long after production ended. The feud with Sophia Loren. In 1961, Charlton Heston and Sophia Loren co-starred in the epic film El Cid, portraying the legendary Spanish hero Rodrigo Diaz de Vivar and his beloved Doña Jimena. While their on-screen chemistry suggested a deep romantic connection, the reality behind the scenes was starkly different. Tensions between Heston and Loren were palpable, leading to a strained working relationship that became the subject of Hollywood lore. The discord between the two stars stemmed from a combination of professional disagreements and personal incompatibilities. Loren, already an established international star, had specific expectations regarding her role and the film's production. She reportedly requested script revisions to enhance the romantic aspects of the story and negotiated a substantial salary, reflecting her star status. Heston, known for his dedication to authenticity and the integrity of his roles, was displeased with these changes, viewing them as concessions that compromised the film's historical narrative. The friction was evident during filming. Observers noted that Heston often avoided direct eye contact with Loren during their scenes together, a behavior that underscored the depth of their mutual discomfort. This lack of rapport was surprising, given the intense romantic relationship their characters shared in the film. Despite their professional commitment, the off-screen animosity occasionally seeped into their performances, challenging both actors to maintain the illusion of affection. In his reflections on the film, Heston acknowledged the challenges he faced working with Loren. He admired her talent, but found their collaboration difficult, attributing it to their differing approaches to the craft and contrasting personalities. Loren, for her part, remained more reserved in her comments about Heston, though it was clear the experience was not among her most cherished.
She looked fabulous.
No, when the first time I did the striptease in the De Sica's film, I was all alone by myself. I didn't have anybody to compete with. But years later, when Bob Altman asked me to do the same thing in the picture with Marcello Mastroianni, I was a little bit scared because my life had changed. I was changed. I had children. I have a family. I was a little bit embarrassed, a little bit in the beginning on the set, because I didn't know what was going to happen.
The tension between Heston and Loren serves as a reminder that even the most compelling on-screen romances can mask real-life discord. Their ability to deliver convincing performances amidst personal conflict is a testament to their professionalism and acting prowess. On-set tensions. Charlton Heston was a consummate professional who expected the same level of discipline from those he worked with. This expectation clashed with Sophia Loren's own demands during the making of El Cid. Their differences became clear early in production when Loren insisted on several conditions, including script rewrites and specific promotional agreements. Heston, who prided himself on authenticity, saw these changes as unnecessary and disruptive. His frustration with Loren's influence over the production only grew as filming progressed. One of the most notorious examples of their tension came during scenes that required close physical interaction. Heston allegedly disliked working so closely with Loren and on occasion refused to do certain scenes directly with her. This led to the use of stand-ins to create the illusion of intimacy. While directors and editors worked around their issues, those on set could sense the hostility. The film's director, Anthony Mann, found himself mediating between his two leads, attempting to keep their animosity from affecting the final product. Heston's disdain for Loren's approach to filmmaking was no secret. He later wrote about the experience, commenting on how difficult it had been to share the screen with her. While he was known for being courteous in public, His private accounts of working with Loren revealed his true feelings. Quote, "I've worked with a lot of actresses," he once said, "and I can tell you some of them are easier to work with than others." Though he never named Loren directly in that instance, many believed he was referring to their tumultuous collaboration. Despite the mutual frustration, both actors remained professional enough to finish the film. El Cid went on to become one of the most acclaimed historical epics of its time, praised for its grand scale and compelling performances. But Heston and Loren's personal grievances never truly faded. While other actors he had conflicts with eventually made peace with him, Loren remained an exception. Post-production disputes.
I think El Cid was, in some ways, one of the most successful, perhaps physically the most impressive in terms of the look of it, of those big historic epics. It didn't succeed perhaps as well as Wyler did with Ben-Hur in conveying the people, but I think the story is in fact a better story than Ben-Hur. El Cid was, after all, a real person. He genuinely was a great figure in Spanish history. And I've often thought that I would like to have seen what William Wyler would have done with that story.
After El Cid wrapped, the tensions between Charlton Heston and Sophia Loren did not dissipate. In fact, their relationship continued to sour during the film's post-production phase. Loren, dissatisfied with how her image was portrayed in the marketing of the film, took legal action against the producers. She felt that the promotional materials unfairly emphasized Heston's role at the expense of hers, which was a significant issue for the Italian star. Loren had been accustomed to having her presence dominate the films she starred in, and she felt the producers had undermined her contributions. Heston, who already expressed his frustrations with Loren during filming, found himself in an awkward position when the legal drama unfolded. As the public face of the film, he had to remain diplomatic, but privately, he shared his displeasure with the way Loren handled the situation. He had been outspoken about her tendency to demand special treatment, and he didn't shy away from discussing the matter with close friends and colleagues. Heston believed that Loren's actions were part of a larger pattern of trying to control the narrative around her career, an approach that he considered disruptive to the collaborative nature of filmmaking. While Loren's lawsuit over the promotional issues eventually settled, the lingering effects of their discord lasted far beyond the film's release. Heston, who was used to the Hollywood system where actors were often expected to put aside differences for the sake of the final product, couldn't fully reconcile with Loren's approach. He made it clear in later interviews that the time spent working with her had been challenging and in many ways left him with a lasting sense of frustration. Their post-production fallout was another chapter in a broader narrative of Heston's difficult relationships with certain co-stars. While he was known for his stoic professionalism and leadership on set, the experience with Loren tested his patience and his belief in the power of on-screen partnership. Other notable feuds. One of his most famous disputes was with Gore Vidal during the making of Ben-Hur. The 1959 epic became one of Heston's most iconic films, earning him an Academy Award for Best Actor. But behind the scenes, he strongly disagreed with Vidal over the film's subtext. Vidal, who worked on the script, later claimed he had inserted a layer of homoerotic tension between Heston's character, Judah Ben-Hur, and his former friend-turned-enemy, Messala, played by Stephen Boyd. According to Vidal, he had discussed this with Boyd, who adjusted his performance accordingly. Heston, however, was never informed, and when Vidal publicly discussed it years later, Heston firmly denied it. Quote, "This is absolute nonsense," Heston said. "I never played any scene that way, and I would have known if there was an intent like that in the script." Another co-star who had strong opinions about Heston was Frank Langella. The two worked together in the 70s, and Langella later wrote about his experiences with Heston in his memoir. He described Heston as a humorless man who took himself too seriously, often showing little interest in those around him unless they were discussing something he found important. Langella recounted how Heston would hold court on set, delivering monologues about history and politics with little regard whether his audience was engaged. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite Charlton Heston role? Let us know in the comments section below.